Manipulate those who manipulate you. Introduction. The strongest people are not those who show strength in front of us, but those who win battles we know nothing about. Manipulation is one of those battles, silent, often unseen, but powerful enough to shake even the strongest minds. It's the subtle shift in tone, the lingering guilt, the words that stick in our minds, making us question ourselves. Manipulators know how to pull the strings behind the scenes, influencing us without us even realizing it, until it's too late. But today, we're going beyond defense. We're stepping into the art of reclaiming control, learning how to identify manipulation tactics and using calm, calculated responses to disarm them. This is about turning the tables, not through anger or confrontation, but through inner mastery, by creating boundaries that manipulators cannot breach. Imagine having the tools to stop them in their tracks without even raising your voice. To respond in ways that leave them unsettled, not you. To protect your peace, guard your mind, and walk away with a quiet, untouchable strength they never expected. Are you ready to master the art of calm power and make manipulation work in your favor? Chapter 1. Recognizing manipulation tactics. Manipulators often use specific strategies to get what they want by making you feel pressured, obligated, or even confused. They try to gain control over you, not through force, but by playing with your emotions. Here are some common tactics. Guilt tripping. This is when someone makes you feel responsible or guilty for something, even if it's not your fault. They might say things like, "After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me." Their goal is to make you feel indebted, so you'll do what they want just to ease your guilt. Gaslighting. Gaslighting is when someone tries to make you question your own reality. They might deny things they've said or done, making you doubt your own memory and feel like you're crazy for even questioning them. For example, if you confront them about hurtful behavior, they might respond, "I never said that. You're imagining things." This technique confuses you, making it easier for them to control the situation. Blame shifting. When someone shifts the blame, they refuse to take responsibility for their actions and instead try to make you feel at fault. They'll turn the tables, making you feel like you're the one in the wrong, even if they were the one who caused the problem. For example, if they are late, they might say, "If you hadn't made us leave so early, I wouldn't have forgotten my keys." Their goal is to avoid accountability and make you feel like you need to fix things. To protect yourself from these tactics, you need to recognize when they're happening. The next time someone's behavior feels off, take a step back and ask yourself, is this person trying to make me feel guilty, confused, or responsible for things that aren't my fault? Being aware of these signs is the first step toward taking back control. When you understand the tactics manipulators use, you're much better equipped to resist them calmly and confidently. Chapter 2. The Power of Detachment. One of the best ways to counter manipulation is to practice emotional detachment. Manipulators thrive on getting an emotional reaction out of you. They want you to feel pressured, upset, or defensive. When you respond with strong emotions, it makes it easier for them to steer the conversation in their favor. But when you detach emotionally, you keep your calm, which makes it harder for them to control you. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you take a step back mentally and observe the situation from a neutral point of view. By not reacting instantly, you give yourself time to think about what's happening and decide the best way to respond. For instance, if someone tries to make you feel guilty, instead of apologizing right away or feeling pressured to agree, you can pause and think, is this guilt really mine to carry? This mental distance helps you see the situation more clearly and understand the manipulator's intentions. Practicing detachment also involves recognizing that you are responsible for your emotions, not for anyone else's. If someone tries to make you feel bad or plays on your insecurities, remind yourself that their words reflect their own issues, not your worth or value. By staying centered, you remain in control of your emotions, making it much harder for manipulators to unsettle you. Detachment is like building an invisible shield around you, where you acknowledge what's happening, but don't let it affect you deeply. When you stay grounded, you can respond calmly and thoughtfully, rather than getting caught up in their web of influence. Chapter 3. Reverse Psychology and Mirroring. When dealing with manipulators, subtle techniques like reverse psychology and mirroring can shift the power dynamic in your favor. These tools allow you to influence without directly confronting, which often works better with people who thrive on control. Reverse psychology is the art of encouraging someone to do the opposite of what you want, making them feel like they're the ones in control. For instance, if someone is pressuring you to make a quick decision, you might say, "Maybe this isn't the right time for me to commit," or "Perhaps this isn't a good fit for me." Often, their response will be to try harder to get you to agree, now shifting their energy into convincing you. By implying the opposite, you turn their manipulative push into a situation where they feel compelled to align with you instead. Mirroring is another powerful tool. It involves subtly reflecting the manipulator's body language, gestures, or tone of voice. People naturally feel more comfortable and trusting with those who mirror their actions, even on a subconscious level. For example, if someone is speaking calmly, match their tone and speed, or if they are using certain phrases, try to incorporate similar words into your response. This mirroring builds a quiet rapport, which can make them more receptive to your ideas without them even realizing it. Both of these techniques allow you to stay in control without direct confrontation. They subtly guide the manipulator away from their own agenda and encourage them to view you as a respected equal rather than a target. Instead of playing their game, you're leading them in a direction that serves your goals, all while maintaining calm, quiet influence. Chapter 4. Establishing Boundaries. Establishing boundaries is essential when dealing with manipulators. Boundaries are your personal limits. They define what behaviors you will and won't accept from others. Manipulators often look for weak boundaries to take advantage of, pushing you to give more time, energy, or resources than you're comfortable with. That's why having clear, firm boundaries is one of the most powerful ways to protect yourself. Boundaries can take different forms, such as saying no when you don't want to do something, expressing your needs openly, or setting limits on how much emotional energy you'll invest in certain interactions. For instance, if someone constantly tries to guilt-trip you into doing things, your boundary might be to calmly say, "I'm not comfortable with that," or "I need to stick to my own plans." By being clear and direct, you communicate that your needs are important too. Being consistent with your boundaries is key. Manipulators might test them to see if they can wear you down over time. They might say things like, "Just this once," or "You're really letting me down." Don't let this pressure cause you to back down. When you hold firm, you're signaling that your limits are non-negotiable. Remember, boundaries aren't about shutting people out or being difficult. They're about respecting yourself and creating healthy, balanced relationships. Having strong boundaries allows you to interact with others without feeling drained, resentful, or controlled. When you know your limits and stick to them, you're much harder to manipulate. Boundaries are a shield, a form of calm power that lets you stay in control of your life. Chapter 5. Tactical Silence. In a world where people often feel compelled to fill every moment with words, silence can be a powerful tool, especially when dealing with manipulators. Tactical silence is the intentional use of silence to regain control in a conversation, create discomfort for a manipulator, or give yourself time to process what's happening without immediately reacting. Manipulators often rely on emotional responses and quick reactions to exert influence, but when you stay silent, you disrupt their rhythm and put the focus back on them. When someone is trying to manipulate you, they may use various tactics to push you into giving a quick answer or make you feel like you need to justify yourself. They want you to feel pressured to respond so they can steer the conversation in a way that benefits them. But by remaining silent, you force them to deal with the uncertainty of not knowing what you're thinking or how you'll respond. This can make manipulators feel uneasy because silence shifts the power dynamic, leaving them unsure of their control over you. Silence also creates space for reflection, allowing you to assess the situation objectively. In a tense moment, it's easy to let emotions take over and say things you might later regret or that might give the manipulator more leverage. When you stay quiet, you give yourself the time to consider whether the other person's words or actions are genuine or manipulative. This pause helps you approach the situation from a position of calm and control rather than reacting impulsively. For example, imagine you're in a conversation where someone is trying to make you feel guilty for setting boundaries. They might say something like, "I can't believe you won't help me out after all I've done for you." Instead of defending yourself or explaining your reasons, try responding with silence. Maintain a neutral expression, keep eye contact if comfortable, and allow the silence to linger. In many cases, the manipulator may start to feel uncomfortable and reveal more about their true intentions, or they might even backpedal. Silence can make them realize that their tactics aren't working on you, prompting them to reconsider their approach. Tactical silence can also serve as a way to regain control in a conversation that feels overwhelming. Sometimes manipulators bombard you with rapid-fire statements or questions, hoping to confuse you and prevent you from thinking clearly. By choosing silence, you can slow down the pace and disrupt their attempts to overwhelm you. Silence signals that you won't be rushed or cornered into making a decision or statement you're not ready for. Instead, you control the tempo of the interaction. However, it's important to remember that tactical silence doesn't mean ignoring the person completely or refusing to communicate. It's about using silence strategically at key moments to create space, regain power, or signal that you're not easily manipulated. After a period of silence, you can respond in a calm, measured way, choosing your words carefully to convey that you're in control. Additionally, silence allows you to observe the manipulator's reaction. How they handle your silence can reveal a lot about their intentions. If they become uncomfortable or frustrated, it often means they were counting on a particular response from you. If they try to break the silence with reassurance, excuses, or backpedaling, this can indicate they feel their manipulation isn't working as intended. Tactical silence is especially effective because it often leaves manipulators with nothing to work with. Many manipulators rely on back-and-forth dialogue to gauge your reactions, but when you stay silent, you remove the immediate feedback they need to adjust their tactics. They may struggle to keep control of the conversation without your emotional responses to play off, making them feel as if their influence is slipping. In a broader sense, silence is a form of calm power. It shows that you don't need to fill the space with words to feel in control or validated. When you use silence wisely, you demonstrate inner strength and self-assurance. You're showing that you're comfortable enough with yourself to sit in silence, that you won't let others pressure you into speaking or acting before you're ready, and that you are not afraid to stand firm. So, next time you find yourself in a situation where someone is trying to manipulate you, remember that silence can be your ally. Let it create a moment of reflection, allow it to disrupt the manipulator's plan, and use it to regain control of the interaction. In those quiet moments, you'll find a powerful tool that helps you stay grounded and unshakable, even in the face of manipulation. Chapter 6. Reframing the conversation. One of the most effective ways to counter manipulation is to reframe the conversation. Reframing means changing the perspective or angle of a discussion so that it becomes harder for the manipulator to control. This technique allows you to shift the focus away from their agenda and bring it back to a neutral or empowering position. When used correctly, reframing can dismantle the manipulator's tactics and steer the conversation toward a more balanced, honest exchange. Manipulators often try to direct conversations to areas where they hold the most control. They might exaggerate, play the victim, or twist facts to make you feel responsible for their issues or to get a particular reaction. By reframing, you don't directly oppose their statements or get defensive. Instead, you gently shift the perspective, making their tactics less effective. Here's an example. Imagine someone constantly criticizes your decisions, implying that you're not capable of making good choices on your own. Instead of defending each choice or becoming upset, you could reframe the conversation by focusing on your strengths and autonomy. You might say, "I appreciate your input, but I feel confident in my ability to make choices that are best for me." This response subtly shifts the focus from their doubts about you to your confidence and independence, without arguing or sounding defensive. Another useful reframing approach is to ask clarifying questions. Manipulators often make broad statements or accusations to create confusion or self-doubt. By asking them to clarify, you invite them to back up their claims with specifics, something manipulators often struggle with because their statements are usually exaggerated or baseless. For example, if someone says, "You never support me," you could respond by calmly asking, "Can you give me an example of a time when you felt unsupported?" This reframing technique requires them to focus on facts rather than generalizations, making it harder for them to keep control through exaggeration or guilt. Reframing can also help when someone tries to impose their priorities onto you, making you feel like their concerns should be your main focus. Let's say a colleague is pressuring you to stay late for their project, hinting that you're not a team player if you don't. Instead of feeling guilty or explaining why you can't stay, you could reframe the conversation by focusing on mutual respect. You might say, "I understand that your project is important, but I have my own commitments that also need attention. I'm happy to help within the time I have available." By reframing in this way, you acknowledge their concern without letting it override your boundaries. Sometimes, reframing can be as simple as changing the language you use. Manipulators may use loaded words that carry negative implications, hoping to make you feel bad or guilty. For instance, instead of accepting words like selfish, if you're setting boundaries, you can reframe it in your own mind as self-care. When you change the language, you also change the way you feel about it. Reframing helps you separate your true intentions from the manipulator's narrative, allowing you to stand firm without feeling pressured by their words. Another reframing technique is to focus on solutions rather than problems. Manipulators often dwell on problems to keep you feeling anxious or obligated to help them solve their issues. For example, if someone repeatedly complains about how difficult their life is and expects you to fix things, you could respond by saying, "I understand you're going through a hard time. What steps are you planning to take to improve things?" By reframing the conversation towards solutions, you gently encourage them to take responsibility for their situation without taking it on yourself. Reframing is a skill that takes practice, but once you learn it, you'll find that it gives you tremendous power in conversations. Instead of getting drawn into a manipulator's agenda, you steer the conversation in a way that maintains your boundaries, emphasizes your values, and holds the other person accountable for their actions. It's a way to respond without reacting, to assert yourself without arguing, and to remain calm and centered in even the most challenging interactions. To effectively reframe, keep your tone calm and composed. Avoid sarcasm, as it can escalate tensions. The goal is not to fight, but to gently guide the conversation to a place where you feel more in control. Remember, reframing doesn't mean denying or ignoring what the manipulator says. It's about changing the way you respond, so you're no longer under their influence. In the end, reframing allows you to remain true to yourself without bending to someone else's will. By shifting perspectives, asking questions, and focusing on positive language, you can subtly change the dynamics of a conversation and protect yourself from manipulation. It's a tool that empowers you to steer clear of emotional traps, maintain your self-respect, and keep your interactions as balanced as possible. Chapter 7. Building Emotional Resilience. Manipulation can take a toll on your emotional health, especially when you encounter it repeatedly in close relationships or the workplace. To truly counter manipulation, it's essential to build emotional resilience, a strong inner foundation that allows you to stay calm, think clearly, and recover quickly from any attempts to sway or control you. Emotional resilience is about more than just toughing it out. It's the ability to maintain your emotional balance, handle stress effectively, and not let someone else's words or actions shake your self-worth. Building emotional resilience involves several key practices. The first is developing self-awareness. Manipulators often target insecurities and vulnerabilities, so knowing yourself, your values, strengths, and areas of sensitivity helps you identify when someone's words or actions are meant to undermine you. Self-awareness allows you to recognize when you're feeling triggered, giving you the chance to step back and observe your emotions rather than immediately reacting. This small pause, even just a few seconds, can make a huge difference, helping you respond from a place of strength rather than defensiveness. One effective way to strengthen self-awareness is through mindfulness. Mindfulness practices, such as meditation or simply taking a few moments to breathe deeply, allow you to observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment. When you practice mindfulness regularly, you become more in tune with yourself, making it easier to notice when someone is trying to manipulate you and to remain grounded despite the pressure. For example, if someone is using guilt-tripping language to make you feel responsible for their happiness, a mindful approach allows you to recognize the tactic without internalizing the guilt. Another important aspect of emotional resilience is self-validation. Manipulators often try to make you question your worth, capabilities, or decisions. They may criticize you, compare you to others, or make you feel inadequate. To counter this, practice validating yourself. Remind yourself of your achievements, your strengths, and the effort you put into becoming the person you are. Acknowledge your worth, even if others try to minimize it. Self-validation helps you build an inner confidence that doesn't rely on others' approval, making it much harder for manipulators to sway your sense of self-worth. Emotional resilience also involves setting healthy expectations for yourself. Manipulators often capitalize on people's need to please or meet high standards, making you feel like you should be doing more or giving more. Learn to set realistic expectations and prioritize your well-being over constantly meeting other people's demands. Remember, you don't have to be perfect, and it's okay to put your needs first. By accepting your imperfections and practicing self-compassion, you become less susceptible to feeling guilt or shame when someone tries to manipulate you into doing things against your best interest. Another essential component of emotional resilience is building a support network. Having people around you who understand and respect your boundaries can make a big difference when dealing with manipulation. Trusted friends, family members, or even mental health professionals can offer support, help you process your feelings, and provide an outside perspective on situations that feel overwhelming. A strong support system reinforces your emotional resilience by reminding you that you're not alone and that you have people who care about your well-being. In addition to external support, internal techniques like positive self-talk can help bolster your resilience. Positive self-talk involves consciously replacing negative thoughts with encouraging ones. For example, if you find yourself thinking, "I'm not strong enough to handle this," reframe it to, "I'm capable of handling challenges, and I've overcome difficult situations before." Positive self-talk helps counter the self-doubt manipulators may try to instill, reinforcing your confidence and ability to cope with adversity. Developing emotional resilience also means learning to let go of what you can't control. Manipulators often use tactics to keep you fixated on situations that leave you feeling helpless or stressed. However, constantly worrying about things you can't control drains your energy and keeps you vulnerable to manipulation. By accepting that some things are beyond your influence, you can focus on what you can control: your reactions, decisions, and boundaries. This shift in perspective helps reduce anxiety, increases your sense of empowerment, and makes it easier to withstand manipulative tactics. Another helpful tool in building emotional resilience is learning to detach from outcomes. Manipulators often use the promise or threat of specific outcomes to control your behavior, implying that if you don't comply, something you care about will be lost or harmed. By practicing detachment, you focus on doing what's right for you rather than on trying to guarantee a particular result. Detachment isn't about not caring. It's about releasing the need for things to go a certain way and trusting that you'll handle whatever comes. This mindset makes it harder for manipulators to use fear or reward as a means to sway your decisions. Emotional resilience is greatly enhanced by practicing gratitude. While it may seem unrelated, focusing on gratitude trains your mind to recognize the positives in your life, even when facing challenges. Regularly reminding yourself of what you're grateful for, whether it's your health, supportive relationships, or personal accomplishments, helps shift your focus from what others are trying to take from you to what you already have. Gratitude helps build a solid inner foundation that isn't easily shaken by external pressures, and it cultivates a mindset that naturally resists manipulation by centering you in positivity and abundance rather than lack. In sum, emotional resilience isn't something you build overnight. It's a practice of cultivating inner strength, self-awareness, and a supportive mindset. By building resilience, you equip yourself with the mental and emotional tools needed to stand firm against manipulation. When you're emotionally resilient, you're less likely to be swayed by others' attempts to control or influence you because you know who you are, what you value, and what you're willing to accept. You're able to observe manipulative tactics without reacting impulsively, maintaining your balance and dignity in even the most challenging interactions. With emotional resilience, you can remain calm, centered, and true to yourself, no matter who you're dealing with. It's the quiet confidence that says, "I am in control of my emotions and my life." This inner strength becomes your armor, allowing you to navigate difficult situations with grace and strength, unaffected by those who seek to manipulate or control you. Chapter 8. Practicing assertive communication. Assertive communication is a crucial skill for anyone looking to protect themselves from manipulation. When you're assertive, you communicate your needs, feelings, and boundaries openly and confidently without aggression or passivity. Manipulators often rely on people who struggle to express themselves or feel uncomfortable asserting their own needs, so learning to communicate assertively makes it harder for them to push you around. Assertiveness is not about being confrontational. It's about standing up for yourself in a way that's respectful both to you and the other person. Assertive communication starts with clarity. Know what you want to communicate and why. If someone is pressuring you into doing something that doesn't feel right, start by clarifying your own feelings. Are you uncomfortable, or do you feel taken advantage of? Once you identify your feelings, you can express them directly without anger or blame. For example, if a coworker is trying to pile their tasks onto you, you might say, "I understand that you have a lot on your plate, but I also have my own responsibilities that require my attention. I won't be able to take on more work right now." One key to assertive communication is the use of I statements. These statements focus on your perspective and feelings rather than blaming or accusing the other person. By framing your thoughts this way, you reduce the chances of the other person becoming defensive, making it easier to have a constructive conversation. For example, instead of saying, "You're always making me feel guilty," you could say, "I feel uncomfortable when I'm put in situations where I feel pressured to do things against my will." This type of phrasing keeps the focus on your experience and makes it clear that you're addressing how you feel, not attacking the other person. Body language also plays a huge role in assertive communication. Stand or sit up straight, maintain eye contact, and speak in a calm, steady voice. Non-verbal cues like eye contact and posture communicate confidence and reinforce that you mean what you're saying. Manipulators often look for signs of uncertainty or discomfort. If they sense weakness, they're more likely to press harder. By maintaining confident body language, you send a message that you are not easily swayed. When responding to manipulation attempts, it's important to stay focused on the issue at hand. Manipulators may try to steer the conversation in different directions to distract you or make you question yourself. This is where staying assertive comes in. For instance, if someone tries to change the subject to avoid addressing your boundary, bring the focus back by calmly saying, "I'd like to stay on this topic so we can come to an understanding." Keeping the conversation on track shows that you're in control and that you won't be easily derailed. Assertiveness also involves learning to say no effectively. Manipulators often exploit people's difficulty with saying no, so being comfortable with this word is crucial. Saying no doesn't have to be rude or harsh. It's simply a clear expression of your boundaries. For instance, if a friend repeatedly asks for favors without reciprocating, you might say, "I'm unable to help out this time, as I have other commitments." Remember, you don't owe anyone an elaborate explanation for your decision. The more comfortable you become with saying no, the more confident and self-assured you'll feel in standing up to manipulative behaviors. Another aspect of assertive communication is being able to calmly handle objections or guilt-tripping. When a manipulator tries to make you feel guilty, they're hoping you'll cave to their wishes out of discomfort. Instead of getting defensive, respond calmly and acknowledge their feelings without giving in. For example, if someone says, "I thought you'd be there for me," you can respond, "I understand you're disappointed, but I have other responsibilities that need my attention." By holding your ground, you show that you respect your own needs as much as theirs. Assertive communication also includes setting clear, specific boundaries. When you communicate boundaries assertively, you leave less room for the manipulator to interpret or push past them. For instance, if a family member frequently drops by unannounced and it disrupts your schedule, you might say, "I love seeing you, but I need a heads up before visits so I can plan accordingly." Notice how this statement is clear, direct, and respectful, leaving no room for ambiguity. Practicing assertive communication takes time, especially if you're used to people-pleasing or avoiding confrontation. Start by practicing in low-stakes situations like with friends or colleagues, where you feel more comfortable. With time, you'll find it easier to assert yourself in more challenging interactions. Remember, being assertive doesn't mean being aggressive or dominating the conversation. It's about expressing your needs and values clearly while respecting those of others. Assertive communication is also about valuing your own time and energy. Manipulators often try to monopolize your attention, but assertiveness allows you to set limits. For example, if someone keeps trying to vent their problems without consideration for your time, you could say, "I understand you're going through a lot, but I have some other commitments I need to focus on right now." This lets them know you're supportive, but it also respects your own boundaries and time. Assertiveness ultimately empowers you to take charge of your interactions. By being clear, calm, and confident, you can communicate effectively without being swayed by others' agendas. You're showing that your thoughts and feelings matter, that you won't be easily manipulated, and that you respect yourself enough to stand up for your needs. When you practice assertive communication, you become someone who can navigate relationships with clarity and strength, setting the tone for healthier, more respectful connections. Assertive communication is an invaluable tool for protecting yourself from manipulation. It helps you express your needs and boundaries in a way that is both clear and respectful, building stronger, more balanced relationships. It's a skill that, once mastered, will serve you well in every area of life, allowing you to stand tall, speak your truth, and stay true to yourself in all interactions. Chapter 9. Developing empathy without sacrificing yourself. Empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person, is often considered a valuable quality in any relationship. It allows us to connect with others on a deep level, offer support, and respond with kindness. However, manipulators often take advantage of empathetic people, using their compassion as a tool to control or influence them. Learning to balance empathy with self-protection is crucial for navigating manipulative relationships. This chapter will guide you on how to maintain empathy without sacrificing your boundaries or well-being. It's essential to recognize that empathy doesn't mean taking responsibility for other people's emotions or problems. Manipulators often try to make you feel as though their happiness, comfort, or success depends on you, creating a sense of obligation. They might play the victim or exaggerate their struggles to tug at your heartstrings, hoping you'll feel compelled to rescue them. Remember, empathy is about understanding others, not fixing them. It's okay to care, but it's not your job to bear their burdens. One way to practice balanced empathy is by setting emotional boundaries. Emotional boundaries are limits on how much emotional energy you're willing to invest in another person's issues. While it's natural to want to help those in need, remind yourself that you can't pour from an empty cup. Protecting your energy allows you to remain compassionate without becoming overwhelmed. For example, if a friend is constantly venting about their problems without taking any steps to change their situation, it's okay to set limits on how much time and energy you dedicate to listening. You might say, "I'm here for you, but I also have to focus on my own responsibilities." Have you considered speaking to someone who can offer professional advice? Practicing what is known as compassionate detachment can be highly effective. Compassionate detachment means caring for someone while remaining detached from their emotions and decisions. This approach allows you to empathize with others without becoming entangled in their emotional struggles. For example, if a coworker frequently complains about their workload but refuses to ask for help or set boundaries, you can listen empathetically but remind yourself that it's their responsibility to change their situation. Compassionate detachment allows you to be a supportive presence without sacrificing your mental and emotional health. It's also helpful to practice reflective listening as a way to show empathy without getting deeply involved. Reflective listening means acknowledging the other person's feelings without internalizing them. You might say, "It sounds like you're really frustrated," or "That must be difficult for you." This lets the other person know you're listening and that you understand, but it doesn't invite them to make their problems yours. Reflective listening helps you stay empathetic while maintaining emotional boundaries, as you're offering understanding without offering to take on their burden. Another important aspect of balancing empathy with self-protection is recognizing when someone is using emotional manipulation tactics to exploit your empathy. Common tactics include guilt tripping, where the person makes you feel guilty for not helping them, or playing the martyr, where they portray themselves as helpless and incapable of dealing with their issues without your support. If you recognize these behaviors, remind yourself that empathy doesn't require you to act in ways that make you feel uncomfortable, drained, or taken advantage of. Trust your instincts. If someone's actions or words make you feel obligated in an unhealthy way, it's likely a sign that they're trying to manipulate your empathy. Learning to say no kindly and respectfully is a vital part of preserving empathy without becoming vulnerable to manipulation. Empathetic people often struggle with saying no, fearing they might hurt or disappoint others. However, setting boundaries is a form of self-respect, and in the long run fosters healthier relationships. If a friend is constantly asking for favors that stretch your limits, practice saying, "I wish I could help, but I'm unable to right now." This response is kind, empathetic, and clear, letting the person know that while you care, you also have boundaries. It's also useful to remind yourself that empathy doesn't mean enabling. Sometimes, in an effort to be supportive, people end up enabling manipulative or self-destructive behaviors. For example, if a family member constantly borrows money and never repays it, giving in every time might seem empathetic, but it's ultimately enabling their poor financial habits. True empathy can sometimes mean stepping back and allowing the person to face the consequences of their actions. This can be challenging, especially with close friends or family, but it's often what's best for both of you. Practicing self-empathy is equally important. Self-empathy means treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you offer to others. It's easy to overlook your own needs when you're focused on helping someone else, but self-empathy reminds you that your well-being is just as important. If you're feeling drained or stressed by someone else's struggles, take a moment to check in with yourself. Ask, "Am I taking on too much? Do I need a break?" Listening to your own needs is not selfish. It's essential for maintaining a healthy balance between empathy and self-care. Don't be afraid to seek support if you're finding it challenging to balance empathy with boundaries. Talking to a therapist, coach, or trusted friend can give you insights into how to handle manipulative people while preserving your empathy. They can help you develop strategies for setting boundaries and provide emotional support as you navigate challenging relationships. Having someone to discuss these issues with can reinforce your resolve and give you the perspective you need to protect yourself. Developing empathy without sacrificing yourself is about understanding that you can care deeply for others without losing yourself in their issues. Empathy is a beautiful quality, but like any strength, it needs to be balanced. By setting emotional boundaries, practicing compassionate detachment, and nurturing your own well-being, you can maintain a healthy empathy that connects you with others while preserving your own peace of mind. Balanced empathy empowers you to offer genuine support without compromising your own emotional health. When you master this, you're no longer vulnerable to manipulative tactics that rely on guilt, obligation, or emotional exploitation. Instead, you become a compassionate yet resilient person, someone who can be both kind and strong, empathetic yet self-protective. This balance not only strengthens your relationships, but also fosters a sense of inner calm allowing you to be present and supportive without ever sacrificing yourself. Chapter 10. Cultivating Inner Strength and Self-Worth. The final and perhaps most powerful defense against manipulation is cultivating a strong sense of inner strength and self-worth. Manipulators tend to prey on people who doubt themselves, lack confidence, or struggle with low self-esteem. When you develop a deep, unwavering belief in your own worth, you become far less susceptible to manipulation tactics, guilt-tripping, or pressure. Inner strength and self-worth allow you to stand firm in your values, make choices that honor your well-being, and respond to challenges with resilience and clarity. Building self-worth begins with self-acceptance. This means acknowledging and embracing who you are, flaws and all. Many people have been conditioned to believe that they must meet certain standards, whether set by society, family, or peers, to be worthy of love and respect. Manipulators often exploit these insecurities, making you feel less than if you don't live up to their expectations or demands. But when you start to accept yourself unconditionally, you become less vulnerable to these tactics. Practice reminding yourself, "I am enough as I am." This simple affirmation strengthens your sense of worth and helps shield you from those who might try to undermine your confidence. Another important aspect of cultivating inner strength is identifying your core values. Core values are the principles that define who you are and guide your actions, such as honesty, kindness, integrity, and respect. When you have a strong connection to your values, you're more likely to make decisions that align with them, even in the face of pressure. For instance, if honesty is a core value for you, you'll be less likely to be swayed by someone who tries to manipulate you into compromising your integrity. Understanding your values empowers you to stand up for yourself, even when it's difficult. Self-worth also grows through self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness, understanding, and patience that you would offer to a close friend. Many people are quick to forgive others, but struggle to forgive themselves, constantly criticizing their mistakes or shortcomings. Self-compassion allows you to be gentler with yourself, fostering a healthy relationship with who you are. When you practice self-compassion, you start to believe that you deserve respect and kindness, making it harder for manipulators to make you feel inadequate or unworthy. Setting personal goals and working toward them can also build inner strength. When you set and achieve goals, you create a track record of accomplishments that reinforce your confidence and sense of agency. These goals don't need to be grand. They can be small steps towards self-improvement, like reading a new book, learning a skill, or improving a daily habit. Every time you accomplish something you set out to do, you reinforce the belief that you are capable and resilient. Over time, this makes you more immune to the influence of others who may try to make you feel like you're not good enough. Another important step in building self-worth is surrounding yourself with positive influences. People who genuinely support you, celebrate your successes, and encourage your growth reinforce your sense of worth. By surrounding yourself with these positive influences, you become less dependent on validation from people who may not have your best interests at heart. Positive relationships foster a supportive environment that strengthens your inner resolve and helps you stay grounded. When you're surrounded by people who respect and appreciate you, you're more likely to reject manipulative behavior from those who don't. Developing assertiveness is also a key component of inner strength. Assertiveness isn't just about communicating clearly. It's about believing that your voice matters. When you feel secure in your self-worth, you're more likely to speak up for yourself and set boundaries that protect your well-being. Assertiveness allows you to express your needs and opinions without fear, reminding you that you have a right to take up space in any interaction. This kind of self-assuredness is often enough to deter manipulators, who tend to avoid people who are firm and confident. Inner strength also involves resilience, the ability to bounce back from challenges, setbacks, or disappointments. Life can be unpredictable, and even the strongest among us face difficult times. Resilience helps you handle these situations with grace, learning from them rather than being defeated by them. When you build resilience, you gain confidence in your ability to handle adversity, making it harder for manipulative people to shake you. Resilience is cultivated through facing challenges head-on, learning from your experiences, and developing a mindset that sees obstacles as opportunities for growth. Practicing gratitude is another powerful way to nurture inner strength. By focusing on the positives in your life and what you're thankful for, you cultivate a mindset of abundance rather than lack. Manipulators often thrive on making you feel like something is missing, whether it's love, approval, or success, and that only they can provide it. But when you regularly practice gratitude, you realize that you already have enough and that you don't need someone else's approval to feel complete. Gratitude creates a sense of inner peace that makes you less susceptible to emotional manipulation. Embrace the power of self-reflection. Self-reflection involves taking time to consider your thoughts, feelings, and actions, helping you gain insight into who you are and what you truly want. It allows you to assess whether your choices and relationships align with your values and goals. Through self-reflection, you can identify any patterns where you may have been vulnerable to manipulation in the past, empowering you to avoid similar situations in the future. Regular self-reflection reinforces your inner strength by reminding you that you are always growing, learning, and becoming a stronger version of yourself. Cultivating inner strength and self-worth is an ongoing journey, one that requires patience, self-awareness, and dedication. But as you nurture these qualities, you'll find that manipulation loses its power over you. You'll be able to engage in relationships with clarity, strength, and authenticity, knowing that your value doesn't depend on anyone else's opinion. You'll find yourself feeling calm and centered, grounded in the unshakable belief that you are worthy, capable, and complete. With inner strength and self-worth as your foundation, you become a person who stands tall in the face of manipulation. You are no longer a target for those who seek to control or diminish you. Instead, you are a person of quiet confidence and resilience, able to navigate life's challenges with a calm, assured presence. You'll find that you're not only able to protect yourself from manipulation, but also to inspire others with your strength, serving as a reminder that true power comes from within. Chapter 11. Recognizing patterns and learning from experience. Once you've built tools for dealing with manipulators, like setting boundaries, using assertive communication, and cultivating self-worth, the next step is to sharpen your awareness of patterns and learn from past experiences. Manipulation can be subtle and may recur over time, especially in close relationships or environments where power dynamics are at play. Recognizing patterns in manipulative behavior and your responses to them enables you to proactively protect yourself and grow from each experience. One way to recognize patterns is by looking for recurring feelings in your interactions with certain people. Manipulators often create predictable emotional reactions, such as guilt, anxiety, or doubt, in those they target. If you notice a pattern of feeling drained, uneasy, or defensive after spending time with someone, consider whether manipulation might be at play. By connecting these dots, you'll become better at identifying situations that challenge your boundaries, allowing you to approach them with greater awareness. To further recognize patterns, keep a journal or record of situations where you felt manipulated. Note the specifics: what was said, how you felt, and how you responded. Over time, this record can reveal subtle repeating tactics that a manipulator may use, helping you anticipate future interactions. For instance, you may notice that a colleague always praises you right before asking for favors, or that a friend only contacts you when they need emotional support. Recognizing these patterns helps you see the manipulation clearly, which is the first step in deciding how to respond. Once you recognize a pattern, it's essential to assess how you've handled similar situations in the past. Reflect on what worked and what didn't. Did you set boundaries effectively, or did you feel pressured to compromise? Did you stay calm, or did you become defensive? This self-reflection isn't about self-criticism. It's about learning and adjusting your approach based on what you've experienced. Perhaps you'll notice that when you remained calm and set a firm boundary, the manipulator backed down. Recognizing these successful responses reinforces your confidence and gives you a game plan for future encounters. Learning from experience also means identifying the types of manipulation that work on you and why. We each have unique vulnerabilities, whether it's a need for approval, a strong sense of duty, or a fear of conflict, that manipulators may exploit. For example, if you tend to seek validation from others, you might be more susceptible to flattery or guilt-tripping. By understanding your personal triggers, you can work on strengthening those areas, becoming less reactive and more grounded in self-assurance. It's also important to remember that manipulators may adapt their tactics over time, especially if they sense that their usual methods are no longer effective. For instance, if someone notices that guilt-tripping no longer affects you, they may try a different approach, like passive aggression or withholding affection. Recognizing these shifts can be challenging, but your growing awareness of manipulation patterns will make it easier to spot when someone is attempting a new angle. This awareness gives you the flexibility to adapt your responses and maintain your boundaries even as the manipulation evolves. Part of recognizing patterns and learning from experience is knowing when to distance yourself from certain relationships altogether. Not every relationship is worth maintaining, especially if it consistently undermines your well-being. In some cases, repeated manipulative behavior may signal that the person is unwilling or unable to respect your boundaries. While it can be difficult to step back from certain relationships, especially with family or close friends, your well-being must take priority. If someone repeatedly refuses to respect your boundaries despite your best efforts, it may be healthier to limit or end the relationship. Another key aspect of learning from experience is developing a mindset of growth and resilience. Manipulative situations, while challenging, offer valuable insights into your strengths, your boundaries, and your needs. Each time you recognize manipulation and respond in a way that protects your well-being, you're building emotional resilience. Rather than viewing these experiences as purely negative, see them as opportunities to learn and reinforce your inner strength. Adopting this mindset can make each encounter with manipulation less stressful, as you're no longer reacting from a place of vulnerability, but from a place of calm, mindful control. As you become more adept at recognizing patterns and learning from experience, consider offering support or guidance to others who may be struggling with similar challenges. Many people have difficulty identifying manipulation, especially in close relationships, and your insights could provide them with the clarity they need. By sharing your experiences, you not only reinforce your own understanding, but also help others develop the tools to protect themselves. This sense of shared strength fosters a community of resilience where people are less likely to fall victim to manipulative tactics. Recognizing patterns and learning from experience involves trusting yourself. Manipulation often creates confusion and self-doubt, but as you gain experience and recognize familiar tactics, you'll begin to trust your instincts more. When a situation feels off, Give yourself permission to acknowledge it, even if you can't immediately pinpoint why. Trusting your intuition and insights is an essential part of staying grounded, especially when faced with subtle or evolving manipulation. Recognizing patterns and learning from experience is about becoming more self-aware, proactive, and resilient. By noticing the signs of manipulation and reflecting on your responses, you gain valuable insights that empower you to protect your boundaries effectively. With each experience, you strengthen your ability to navigate complex relationships with confidence and calmness, transforming challenges into opportunities for growth. This awareness brings a new level of emotional freedom. You become someone who is not only skilled at identifying manipulation, but also equipped with the tools to handle it gracefully. As you continue to grow and learn, you'll find yourself less and less affected by others' attempts to control or influence you. Instead, you'll be empowered by a steady sense of self, guided by a deep trust in your own wisdom and strength. Chapter 12. Embracing Personal Growth and Self-Empowerment. The final chapter in navigating manipulation is perhaps the most important: embracing personal growth and empowering yourself to become the best version of who you are. Manipulation can be exhausting and challenging, but it also offers a unique opportunity for growth. Each interaction that tests your boundaries and resilience can ultimately deepen your understanding of yourself, helping you clarify your values, hone your emotional intelligence, and strengthen your inner resolve. Personal growth begins with a commitment to lifelong learning. Handling manipulation is not a one-time skill, but an evolving practice. As you encounter new people, situations, and relationships, you'll face new dynamics that may test your boundaries in different ways. By committing to continuous growth, you're choosing to approach each situation with openness and curiosity rather than fear or avoidance. Embrace the mindset that every experience, positive or negative, can teach you something valuable, whether it's reinforcing your boundaries, strengthening your communication skills, or deepening your empathy. One way to foster ongoing personal growth is through self-reflection. Regularly take time to assess your reactions to different interactions, particularly those that feel challenging or emotionally charged. Reflect on how you responded and whether your response aligned with your values. Ask yourself questions like, did I maintain my boundaries? Was I true to my needs and values? What did I learn about myself? This reflection turns each experience into a stepping stone for personal development, helping you gain insights that make you stronger and more self-assured. Self-empowerment also involves celebrating your progress, however small it may seem. Dealing with manipulation can be taxing, and it's easy to focus on the negatives or feel overwhelmed. But each time you set a boundary, assert yourself, or recognize a manipulative tactic, you are actively empowering yourself. Celebrate these moments of growth. Recognize them as evidence of your inner strength and commitment to self-respect. When you acknowledge your progress, you build momentum, making it easier to continue protecting your boundaries and prioritizing your well-being. Another key aspect of self-empowerment is fostering self-trust. Trusting yourself means believing in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Manipulators thrive on creating self-doubt, but as you grow, you'll realize that your instincts and insights are valid. The more you trust yourself, the less likely you are to be swayed by others' attempts to undermine you. This self-trust reinforces your confidence and helps you respond to situations from a place of calm assurance rather than insecurity. When you trust your judgment, you empower yourself to make choices that honor your needs and values. Personal growth also encourages a shift from a reactive to a proactive mindset. Instead of merely responding to manipulation as it arises, you start to approach relationships with intention and clarity. You set boundaries from the outset, communicate your needs openly, and cultivate relationships that respect your autonomy. Being proactive doesn't mean expecting manipulation, but it does mean knowing your worth, understanding your limits, and being clear about what you need from others. This proactive stance allows you to maintain a greater sense of control over your interactions, reducing the chances of manipulation taking hold. Another important part of personal growth is finding meaning and purpose beyond others' expectations. Manipulators often prey on people who seek validation or approval from outside sources. By focusing on your own passions, goals, and interests, you become less reliant on external validation. Pursue what fulfills you, whether it's a career goal, a creative hobby, or a personal project. When you're anchored by a sense of purpose, you're far less likely to be influenced by others' attempts to control or sway you. This sense of purpose keeps you grounded, focused, and connected to your inner strength. Personal growth and self-empowerment are also nurtured by self-compassion. Recognize that growth isn't always linear. There may be times when you fall into old patterns or find yourself reacting emotionally in situations that test your patience or boundaries. Rather than criticizing yourself, practice self-compassion. Acknowledge that you're human, that growth is a journey, and that setbacks are part of the process. By treating yourself with kindness, you give yourself the space to continue growing without the weight of self-judgment. In your journey of self-empowerment, consider sharing your experiences and insights with others. Teaching or mentoring can be one of the most empowering ways to reinforce what you've learned. Whether it's through helping a friend, supporting a family member, or even writing about your journey, sharing what you've gained can inspire others while solidifying your own growth. Teaching others reinforces your own understanding and serves as a reminder of how far you've come. Embrace the freedom that comes with self-empowerment. As you grow, you'll find that your emotional freedom expands. Manipulative behaviors that once unsettled you now seem like minor inconveniences. The doubts and insecurities that manipulators sought to amplify no longer hold power over you. You're free to be yourself, assertive, self-assured, and confident. You make choices not out of fear or obligation, but out of alignment with who you are and what you want. Embracing personal growth and self-empowerment ultimately transforms you into a person who is resilient, grounded, and deeply connected to your own sense of worth. It allows you to approach life's challenges with clarity and strength, knowing that you have the tools to protect your well-being and navigate relationships with authenticity. You become someone who radiates quiet confidence, a person who is no longer swayed by others' attempts to manipulate or control. As you continue on this journey, remember that self-empowerment is not a destination. It's a lifelong process of learning, growing, and refining who you are. With each step, you'll find yourself feeling calmer, stronger, and more in control, ready to handle whatever comes your way. This is the true power that comes from within, a power that no one can take away from you. In embracing personal growth and self-empowerment, you become the author of your own story, confidently navigating relationships, making choices that honor your values, and living a life defined by strength, clarity, and freedom. Chapter 13. Creating healthy relationships and fostering mutual respect. As you grow in your understanding of manipulation and strengthen your personal boundaries, you'll naturally seek relationships that are built on trust, respect, and genuine care. Healthy relationships are the antidote to manipulation. They provide a space where both individuals can thrive, grow, and feel supported without any hidden agendas. Building and maintaining these kinds of relationships is essential for lasting well-being and personal fulfillment. The foundation of a healthy relationship is mutual respect. In a respectful relationship, both people value each other's boundaries, opinions, and individual needs. Respect allows each person to feel heard and understood, creating a safe space where no one feels pressured or coerced into doing something that doesn't feel right. It's the opposite of manipulation. Rather than trying to control or influence, each person seeks to support and understand. In a mutually respectful relationship, you're free to express yourself openly without fear of judgment, knowing that your thoughts and feelings are valued. One way to foster mutual respect is through open and honest communication. Clear, transparent communication reduces misunderstandings and ensures that both parties feel seen and heard. In a healthy relationship, you don't have to guess what the other person wants or needs. They tell you openly, and you do the same. Practice being honest about your needs, desires, and concerns, even if it feels uncomfortable at times. By doing so, you encourage others to be honest with you too, creating a foundation where neither party feels the need to resort to indirect or manipulative tactics. Setting boundaries is another critical component of healthy relationships. Healthy relationships require boundaries that are respected by both parties. These boundaries aren't limitations on love or friendship, but rather expressions of self-respect. They show that you value yourself and recognize that your well-being matters. Boundaries might look like setting limits on time, energy, or emotional involvement, and they're essential in all types of relationships, whether romantic, familial, or professional. When both people respect each other's boundaries, it leads to a balanced, sustainable connection where no one feels overextended or taken advantage of. Healthy relationships are also marked by reciprocity, where both people give and receive support in roughly equal measure. In a reciprocal relationship, there's a natural give and take that ensures both individuals feel valued and appreciated. One person doesn't constantly take without giving back. Instead, there's a shared commitment to supporting each other. This mutual support is a hallmark of healthy relationships because it prevents one-sided dynamics where one person might feel used or neglected. Reciprocity fosters a sense of equality, helping both individuals feel secure and valued. Trust is another fundamental pillar of a healthy relationship. Trust takes time to build and is maintained through consistent honesty, reliability, and support. In a trusting relationship, you feel secure, knowing the other person respects you and has your best interests at heart. You don't feel the need to constantly defend your boundaries or guard yourself against manipulation. Trust allows you to relax and be yourself, knowing that the other person values and respects you. Without trust, relationships can become strained and lead to feelings of insecurity or vulnerability. It's also important to cultivate emotional independence within healthy relationships. Emotional independence means that while you enjoy and value the relationship, your happiness and self-worth don't depend entirely on it. You're still able to meet your own needs, pursue your goals, and maintain a strong sense of self, regardless of what's happening in the relationship. Emotional independence prevents codependency, where one person relies too heavily on the other for validation, happiness, or fulfillment. When both people in a relationship are emotionally independent, they can contribute more fully and authentically, creating a balanced, fulfilling connection. Empathy is another vital component of healthy relationships. Empathy allows each person to put themselves in the other's shoes, fostering a deeper understanding and appreciation for one another. Practicing empathy means listening without judgment, offering support without trying to control, and respecting each other's experiences. Empathy enables you to respond with kindness and patience, even in challenging situations, and it strengthens the bond between you. In healthy relationships, empathy is a shared experience, creating a safe space where both people feel emotionally supported and understood. Healthy relationships also encourage personal growth. Instead of holding you back or trying to keep you within certain limits, a supportive relationship encourages you to pursue your dreams, explore new interests, and become the best version of yourself. In this type of relationship, both individuals want each other to succeed and grow, even if it means exploring paths independently. When both people are committed to each other's growth, the relationship itself becomes a source of strength and motivation, helping each person reach their potential. In fostering healthy relationships, it's essential to surround yourself with people who genuinely support and respect you. Relationships built on respect, trust, and empathy can be rare, so it's important to nurture and appreciate them. Seek out those who lift you up, who encourage your growth, and who bring positivity and stability to your life. These are the people who will stand by you without manipulating or pressuring you. By prioritizing relationships with those who respect your values and boundaries, you create a network of support that reinforces your well-being and inner strength. Finally, remember that healthy relationships are not immune to challenges. Every relationship will face difficult moments, but in a healthy, respectful relationship, challenges are approached with open communication, patience, and understanding. When both people are committed to working through difficulties in a constructive way, challenges can strengthen the relationship rather than weaken it. Addressing issues together allows both parties to grow individually and as a unit, making the relationship even more resilient over time. Creating healthy relationships and fostering mutual respect is essential for living a fulfilling, empowered life. Healthy relationships enrich you rather than drain you. They provide a foundation of support, trust, and encouragement that allows you to be yourself fully and confidently. These relationships remind you that you're worthy of respect, love, and kindness, and they reflect the same qualities you've cultivated within yourself. As you continue to cultivate and prioritize these healthy, supportive connections, you'll find that manipulation and toxicity have no place in your life. You'll be surrounded by people who genuinely care for you, who respect your boundaries, and who want to see you thrive. Embracing these relationships allows you to live from a place of security, strength, and joy, knowing that you're supported by people who truly value and respect you for who you are. Chapter 14. Letting go of toxic relationships. As you develop inner strength, set boundaries, and cultivate healthy, respectful connections, you may realize that some relationships in your life are consistently draining, manipulative, or harmful. Letting go of toxic relationships is a crucial step toward creating a life defined by positivity, balance, and self-respect. While ending a toxic relationship can be difficult, especially when it involves family, close friends, or a long-term partner, releasing these connections is often necessary for your emotional well-being and personal growth. The first step in letting go of a toxic relationship is recognizing the signs. Toxic relationships often involve manipulation, constant criticism, lack of respect for boundaries, or one-sided dynamics where your needs are consistently ignored. In these relationships, you may feel drained, anxious, or unworthy after interacting with the person. Take note of how you feel before, during, and after spending time with them. These emotional responses are powerful indicators of the relationship's impact on your well-being. Once you've identified a toxic relationship, it's essential to assess whether the other person is open to change. Sometimes, people are unaware of how their behavior affects others and may be willing to make an effort if you openly communicate your concerns. However, in many toxic relationships, the person may be unwilling to respect your boundaries, acknowledge your feelings, or take responsibility for their actions. If, after a sincere effort, you find that they are not willing to change, it may be time to consider ending or distancing yourself from the relationship. Letting go of a toxic relationship often brings up feelings of guilt, especially if you're someone who cares deeply about others. Manipulative individuals may try to reinforce this guilt by portraying themselves as the victim or accusing you of abandoning them. It's crucial to remember that choosing your well-being is not selfish, it's an act of self-respect. Releasing toxic relationships is about prioritizing your mental and emotional health so you can live authentically and freely. Remind yourself that letting go is not about abandoning others, but about honoring your own needs. Setting boundaries is a valuable tool in this process. If you're not ready to end the relationship completely, try creating distance by setting clear, firm boundaries. For instance, limit how often you engage in conversations, avoid personal topics that make you feel vulnerable, or decline invitations to spend time together in situations that lead to emotional strain. Sometimes, setting these boundaries can create a shift in the relationship dynamics, and the other person may adjust their behavior. However, if they repeatedly disregard your boundaries, it's a clear sign that the relationship is unlikely to become healthier. The decision to let go may also involve grieving. Even if the relationship was toxic, it's normal to feel sadness or loss, especially if you've shared a long history with the person. Grieving the end of a relationship allows you to acknowledge the good moments and the lessons learned, while also releasing the pain and disappointment associated with it. Give yourself the time and space to process these emotions fully, without judgment. This grieving process can be healing, helping you to move forward with a clear heart and mind. As you move forward, focus on self-care and self-compassion. Ending a toxic relationship can leave an emotional void, so it's essential to nurture yourself during this time. Engage in activities that bring you joy and peace, and seek support from friends, family, or a therapist if needed. Surround yourself with positive influences who respect and uplift you. Releasing toxic relationships can be emotionally exhausting, but by practicing self-care, you'll find strength and resilience in the process. Another valuable practice is reflecting on what you've learned from the experience. Toxic relationships, while painful, can teach us powerful lessons about our boundaries, values, and vulnerabilities. Consider what the relationship has shown you about yourself and what you want in your future connections. Reflecting on these lessons can reinforce your commitment to building healthier relationships and help you spot red flags early on in new interactions. Letting go of toxic relationships may also lead to self-growth. Without the negativity and manipulation, you'll have more space for joy, personal pursuits, and meaningful relationships. You may find yourself discovering new interests, setting new goals, or simply feeling a sense of freedom and peace that was previously overshadowed by stress or anxiety. By letting go, you create room for a fuller, more empowered version of yourself, one that's free from the weight of toxic influences. Understand that ending a toxic relationship doesn't always mean you'll cut all ties indefinitely, especially if the relationship is with a family member or someone in a shared social circle. Instead, it may mean shifting the dynamic to a place where you feel safe and respected. Redefining the relationship on your terms allows you to keep boundaries in place without fully severing the connection. However, if the relationship remains harmful despite these efforts, it's entirely acceptable to choose distance for the sake of your well-being. Embrace the possibility of new, healthier connections. Once you let go of relationships that drain and devalue you, you open the door to connections that uplift, respect, and inspire you. Focus on surrounding yourself with people who encourage you to grow, honor your boundaries, and appreciate you for who you are. By prioritizing these kinds of relationships, You build a support system that reinforces your self-worth and cultivates an environment of trust and positivity. Letting go of toxic relationships is a courageous act of self-empowerment. While the process can be challenging, it ultimately leads to greater emotional freedom, inner peace, and space for more fulfilling connections. By releasing relationships that no longer serve you, you are making a powerful statement about your worth, values, and vision for a healthier, happier life. This act of letting go is not only a testament to your strength, but a gift to your future self, a step toward a life filled with genuine connections, mutual respect, and the freedom to be authentically you. Chapter 15. Moving forward with confidence and clarity. As you conclude your journey of understanding and protecting yourself from manipulation, the final chapter is about embracing a future defined by confidence, clarity, and self-assurance. Moving forward doesn't just mean leaving manipulation behind. It means actively creating a life where you stand firmly in your values, engage in healthy relationships, and nurture an empowered sense of self. This chapter is about consolidating all the lessons you've learned and using them as the foundation for a life of strength and fulfillment. The first step in moving forward is embracing your newfound self-awareness. Through this journey, you've developed a deeper understanding of your boundaries, needs, and triggers, as well as the types of relationships that nurture and respect you. Use this awareness as your compass in every area of life. When new opportunities, challenges, or relationships arise, check in with yourself to ensure they align with your values and boundaries. By honoring your self-awareness, you'll find it easier to navigate life's complexities with confidence and avoid situations that don't serve your growth. Moving forward also involves setting a clear vision for the life you want to create. This vision doesn't have to be an exact plan, but rather an intention for the kind of experiences, relationships, and personal growth you want to pursue. Take time to reflect on what you truly desire, whether it's inner peace, fulfilling connections, career aspirations, or personal growth goals. Write down your intentions and revisit them often as a reminder of what you're working toward. This vision becomes your guiding light, helping you make decisions that honor who you are and support the life you want. Another essential part of moving forward is cultivating a mindset of resilience and adaptability. Life will continue to present challenges, but you now have the tools and insights to face them with strength. Resilience means that even when you encounter difficult situations or people, you're able to return to your center and handle them in a way that protects your well-being. Trust in your ability to navigate challenges calmly and with self-assurance. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to practice the boundaries, self-compassion, and inner strength you've cultivated, reinforcing your confidence. Embracing self-compassion is equally important in this new chapter. There may be moments when old patterns or insecurities resurface, and that's okay. Self-growth isn't always linear, and being hard on yourself in these moments can be counterproductive. Instead, approach yourself with kindness and patience. Recognize that setbacks are natural and use them as learning experiences. Self-compassion allows you to grow without fear of making mistakes, creating a foundation of gentle resilience that supports you even during challenging times. Another way to move forward with confidence is by staying open to new, positive experiences and relationships. Sometimes, past experiences with manipulation or toxic relationships can make it difficult to trust again. But by cautiously allowing yourself to engage with new people and experiences, you'll create space for fresh opportunities that align with your values. Trust that your awareness and boundaries will guide you in fostering healthier, more fulfilling connections. This openness, combined with your intuition, will help you welcome positivity and joy into your life without fear. Establishing routines and practices that support your well-being is also essential for this next chapter. Personal practices such as mindfulness, journaling, exercise, or hobbies that bring you joy can reinforce your inner strength and sense of calm. These practices ground you, keeping you connected to yourself amid life's busyness. By creating daily routines that nurture your mind, body, and spirit, you're investing in your own well-being and building a solid foundation for facing whatever comes your way. Moving forward confidently also involves sharing what you've learned with others. You don't need to become a mentor or advocate, but by being a living example of self-respect, boundary setting, and resilience, you inspire others to do the same. Your journey can offer hope and encouragement to those around you, especially if they're facing similar challenges. By showing that it's possible to overcome manipulation and cultivate inner strength, you can contribute to a broader culture of respect and empowerment. It's also important to celebrate your progress regularly. Reflect on how far you've come, the boundaries you've set, and the personal growth you've achieved. Celebrating your journey is a way of honoring the hard work you've put into becoming the empowered person you are today. Take pride in the ways you've grown, and let this sense of accomplishment fuel your confidence for the future. Each milestone is a reminder of your resilience and commitment to living a life that honors your values and well-being. Remember that moving forward with confidence and clarity is a lifelong journey. Each day is an opportunity to reaffirm your values, strengthen your self-respect, and pursue experiences that fulfill you. You'll continue to grow, learn, and evolve, but now you have the tools to do so from a place of empowerment. Embrace this journey with a sense of adventure, trusting in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Moving forward with confidence and clarity means stepping into a life where you trust yourself, honor your boundaries, and prioritize your well-being. You are no longer a passive participant in your life. You are the active creator of a future filled with healthy relationships, meaningful experiences, and a profound sense of self-worth. With each step forward, you become more aligned with your authentic self, free to live fully and without fear of manipulation. This chapter of your life is defined by a quiet, unshakable confidence and the clarity to make choices that honor who you are. It's a testament to your strength, growth, and commitment to living a life that reflects the very best of you. Chapter 16. Practicing gratitude and embracing positivity. As you continue your journey of self-empowerment and inner strength, cultivating gratitude and embracing positivity can be transformative practices that help you sustain the changes you've made. Gratitude and positivity act as powerful reinforcements, encouraging a mindset that focuses on what's going well in your life and helping you maintain an optimistic outlook, even in the face of challenges. These practices not only enhance your mental and emotional well-being, but also attract more joy, fulfillment, and harmony into your life. Gratitude is a way of appreciating the present moment and recognizing the value of what you already have. Practicing gratitude daily reminds you of the positive aspects of your life, no matter how small they may seem. This habit can shift your perspective away from lack or worry, helping you to feel more content and fulfilled. Each morning or evening, take a few moments to reflect on 3 things you're grateful for, whether it's a supportive friend, a beautiful sunrise, or a personal accomplishment. This simple practice grounds you in appreciation and reminds you of the abundance in your life, making you less vulnerable to negativity and manipulation. Gratitude also reinforces your self-worth. When you recognize the positives in your life, you affirm that you're deserving of good things. This mindset creates a natural barrier against people who might try to diminish your sense of self-worth or manipulate you. By focusing on gratitude, you shift from needing external validation to valuing the inner richness of your life, making it harder for others to shake your self-esteem. As you become more grateful for who you are and what you have, you build a protective shield of positivity that deflects manipulative tactics and negative influences. Another powerful aspect of gratitude is its ability to transform your relationships. When you express gratitude for the people who genuinely support and respect you, it strengthens those bonds and fosters an environment of mutual appreciation. Take time to tell those close to you how much you value their presence in your life. A simple thank you or a heartfelt note can deepen connections and reinforce a positive dynamic where both parties feel respected and appreciated. This focus on gratitude nurtures healthier, happier relationships and creates an uplifting environment where manipulation has no place. In addition to practicing gratitude, cultivating a positive mindset can significantly impact your mental and emotional resilience. Positivity doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to focus on the possibilities rather than the obstacles. When you embrace a positive outlook, you're more inclined to see opportunities for growth, even in difficult situations. For example, if you face a setback or encounter a challenging person, a positive mindset helps you ask, "What can I learn from this?" or "How can I grow stronger?" This approach empowers you to turn even challenging experiences into valuable lessons. One way to maintain a positive mindset is to surround yourself with positivity. Engage in activities that bring you joy, connect with people who uplift and inspire you, and limit your exposure to negative influences. Positivity is contagious, and by filling your life with positive experiences and people, you create a supportive environment that nurtures your well-being. This environment reinforces the changes you've made, helping you to stay grounded in self-respect and inner strength. Another powerful practice is visualizing your goals and dreams with a sense of optimism and belief in your abilities. Visualization is a technique that involves picturing yourself achieving your goals and experiencing the emotions that come with success. By imagining yourself living the life you desire, free from manipulation, filled with fulfilling relationships, and guided by inner strength, you set a positive expectation for the future. Visualization boosts your confidence, reinforces your belief in your abilities, and inspires you to take proactive steps toward the life you envision. Embracing positivity also means letting go of grudges and releasing resentment. Carrying anger or hurt from past experiences can weigh you down and limit your emotional freedom. Letting go doesn't mean condoning harmful behavior. Rather, it means freeing yourself from the grip of negative emotions that hold you back. Forgiveness, whether directed toward others or yourself, is a powerful act of self-liberation. By releasing resentment, you make space for positivity and peace, allowing you to move forward with a lighter heart. Practicing mindfulness is another way to foster gratitude and positivity. Mindfulness encourages you to stay present and engaged in each moment, appreciating the beauty of the now rather than dwelling on past mistakes or future worries. When you approach life mindfully, you're more likely to notice the small moments of joy and the subtle positives around you. Simple practices, such as mindful breathing, savoring your meals, or taking in the sights and sounds around you, bring you back to the present and deepen your sense of gratitude and contentment. Incorporating these practices into your daily life helps you develop a mindset that is resilient to negativity and manipulation. Gratitude and positivity act as anchors, keeping you focused on what's truly important and preventing you from being swayed by external pressures. They remind you that no matter what challenges arise, you have the power to choose your perspective, and you can always find something to appreciate or celebrate. Remember that gratitude and positivity are habits that grow stronger with practice. The more you focus on the positive, the more natural it becomes, reshaping your outlook and reinforcing your inner strength. Over time, you'll find that you approach life's challenges with greater optimism, adaptability, and peace. These practices elevate your well-being and attract more positive experiences, reinforcing your journey of self-empowerment. Practicing gratitude and embracing positivity enriches every aspect of your life, from your inner peace to your relationships and goals. They foster a mindset of abundance, resilience, and self-assurance, allowing you to move forward with joy and confidence. By focusing on gratitude and positivity, you create a life where manipulation and negativity have no place, and where you can fully embrace the beauty, strength, and fulfillment that you deserve. With a heart full of gratitude and a mind open to positivity, you step into each day with a renewed sense of purpose and peace, knowing that you are equipped to handle anything that comes your way. This final practice solidifies the foundation of your empowered self, enabling you to live a life of joy, authenticity, and lasting strength. Chapter 17. Embracing a life of authenticity and purpose. As you reach the final chapter of this journey, it's time to focus on embracing a life defined by authenticity and purpose. Living authentically means being true to yourself, your values, beliefs, dreams, and goals, without compromising to please others or fit societal expectations. When you fully embrace who you are, you free yourself from the need for external validation, making it nearly impossible for manipulation or negativity to take hold in your life. This final chapter is about aligning your actions with your deepest values, creating a life that feels meaningful, and allowing your true self to shine. Authenticity begins with self-acceptance. This journey has taught you to understand your needs, strengths, and boundaries, and it has given you tools to navigate relationships and challenges. Now, you can step forward with a strong sense of self, embracing both your strengths and imperfections. Accept yourself fully, including the parts of you that are still growing. Authenticity isn't about being perfect. It's about being honest with yourself and others, allowing you to live with integrity and self-respect. This acceptance is your foundation, making you resilient and self-assured in all circumstances. Living with purpose means aligning your actions with what truly matters to you. To find your purpose, take time to reflect on what brings you fulfillment, joy, and a sense of contribution. Purpose isn't necessarily a single grand mission. It can be found in the small, meaningful things that make your life richer. Whether it's a career that fulfills you, a passion that excites you, or a commitment to help others, embracing purpose is about dedicating your time and energy to what resonates deeply within you. When you live with purpose, you naturally feel more motivated, focused, and content, and manipulation loses its power over you because you're grounded in a life that's genuinely yours. Building a life of authenticity and purpose also means setting meaningful goals that align with who you are. Create goals that reflect your values, dreams, and vision for the future. These goals can be personal, like improving your health or developing a skill, or they can be about making a positive impact on others. Goals rooted in authenticity don't rely on others' approval or expectations. They're purely for your own growth and fulfillment. Achieving these goals, even if only step by step, strengthens your self-worth and reinforces your commitment to living a life that feels true to you. As you pursue authenticity and purpose, prioritize relationships that support and celebrate your journey. Seek out connections with people who respect you for who you are, who inspire you to grow, and who encourage you to pursue your dreams. Surrounding yourself with positive, supportive people creates an environment where you feel safe to be yourself, without fear of judgment or manipulation. In these relationships, you'll find mutual respect and shared encouragement, making your journey toward authenticity even more fulfilling. A life of authenticity also includes embracing vulnerability. Authenticity means showing up as your true self, even when it feels uncomfortable or uncertain. Being vulnerable allows you to form deeper, more genuine connections with others because it invites them to do the same. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you show that you're willing to embrace your full self, imperfections and all. This courage to be open strengthens your resilience and helps you cultivate a meaningful, transparent life, free from the need for pretenses or masks. Remember, living authentically doesn't mean that everyone will understand or agree with your choices, and that's okay. Not everyone will share your perspective, values, or goals. Authenticity involves letting go of the need to please everyone and instead focusing on what aligns with your inner truth. Embracing this mindset empowers you to make decisions that are right for you, even if they're unpopular or misunderstood. This ability to stand by your choices reinforces your sense of self and makes it easier to navigate life confidently. A purposeful, authentic life also involves gratitude and appreciation for the present moment. While goals and dreams are important, being mindful and grateful for where you are right now enriches your journey. Embrace each moment, recognizing that your journey is a process of growth and discovery. Mindfulness and gratitude keep you grounded in the present, reminding you that you're already living a meaningful life and that each step forward is a continuation of that purpose. Celebrate your authenticity and purpose every day. Reflect on how far you've come and appreciate the courage it took to choose this path. Living a life of authenticity and purpose is an ongoing commitment, one that requires daily dedication and self-compassion. Take pride in the life you've created and the person you're becoming. Each moment of authenticity, each action aligned with purpose, reinforces your strength and fills your life with meaning. Embracing a life of authenticity and purpose is about living true to who you are and what you value most. It's about setting goals that resonate with your heart, building supportive relationships, and moving forward with a clear sense of direction. By aligning with your true self, you create a life filled with fulfillment, freedom, and peace. This journey has empowered you to step into a life that is uniquely yours, filled with purpose, joy, and unwavering confidence. You are free to live openly and authentically, knowing that you are guided by your own values and strengths. As you continue forward, trust in your ability to create a life that reflects the best of who you are, a life of purpose, resilience, and genuine happiness. Chapter 18. Cultivating Inner Peace and Lasting Fulfillment. As you conclude this transformative journey, the final focus is on cultivating a sense of inner peace and lasting fulfillment. Inner peace is the quiet confidence, calm, and resilience that come from being deeply connected to yourself and aligned with your true values. It's a state of mind that remains steady through life's ups and downs, allowing you to approach challenges and opportunities with grace, clarity, and self-assurance. Lasting fulfillment, on the other hand, comes from living a life that feels purposeful and meaningful, one where you find joy, contentment, and satisfaction not from fleeting external achievements, but from a deep sense of wholeness within. Cultivating inner peace begins with acceptance. Accepting yourself, your life circumstances, and the present moment as they are creates a foundation for true contentment. Rather than constantly striving to change or control everything around you, focus on embracing what you can't change and finding peace in it. Acceptance doesn't mean passivity. It's about letting go of unnecessary resistance and focusing your energy on what truly matters. When you accept life as it comes, you find a sense of tranquility and gratitude that fosters lasting peace. One effective way to nurture inner peace is through mindfulness practices like meditation, deep breathing, or simply being present in daily moments. Mindfulness helps you detach from the pressures and worries that often cloud the mind, allowing you to approach life with clarity and calmness. Set aside a few moments each day to be fully present, whether it's by focusing on your breath, taking a mindful walk, or savoring a meal without distractions. These practices ground you in the present moment and help you maintain inner peace, even during challenging times. Letting go of attachment to outcomes is another key to inner peace. Many people seek happiness in external achievements, possessions, or others' approval, but this can lead to anxiety and disappointment when things don't go as planned. Instead, focus on finding joy in the process rather than in specific results. By releasing attachment to outcomes, you allow yourself to be fully engaged in each experience without the fear of failure or unmet expectations. This detachment empowers you to find peace in the journey itself, no matter the outcome. A practice of gratitude can further deepen your sense of fulfillment. Gratitude reminds you of the abundance that already exists in your life, shifting your focus from what's missing to what's present. This mindset creates a sense of fullness and contentment, allowing you to see each day as a gift. Start or end your day by listing things you're grateful for, whether they're small joys or meaningful connections. This simple practice reinforces your inner peace and fills you with a lasting sense of appreciation. Another essential aspect of cultivating fulfillment is aligning your life with your core values and passions. Reflect on what genuinely brings you joy, purpose, and satisfaction. When you live in harmony with your values, you experience a sense of purpose that goes beyond surface-level happiness. Fulfillment is about knowing that you're living a life true to yourself, filled with pursuits and connections that resonate with your heart. Seek opportunities, relationships, and experiences that align with these values, as they will reinforce your inner peace and enhance your sense of fulfillment. Nurturing self-compassion is also crucial to achieving inner peace. Life will inevitably present challenges and moments of self-doubt, but being kind to yourself helps you navigate these times with patience and understanding. Practice forgiving yourself for past mistakes, letting go of regrets, and treating yourself with the same compassion you would offer a loved one. Self-compassion allows you to find peace in your own company, giving you the inner strength to face life's difficulties without self-judgment or harsh criticism. Giving back to others can also be a powerful source of fulfillment. Contributing to something greater than yourself, whether through volunteering, acts of kindness, or supporting loved ones, creates a sense of connection and purpose. When you help others, you tap into a deeper sense of meaning that goes beyond personal achievements. This selfless fulfillment, grounded in compassion and generosity, adds richness to your life and nurtures your inner peace by fostering a sense of unity and gratitude. Embracing a mindset of growth also contributes to lasting fulfillment. View each experience, especially challenges, as an opportunity to learn and grow. Growth doesn't mean constantly striving for improvement, but rather embracing the journey of self-discovery and evolution. When you approach life with curiosity and openness, you create a dynamic sense of fulfillment that comes from knowing you're continuously expanding, learning, and becoming a better version of yourself. To sustain inner peace and fulfillment, prioritize balance in your life. Balance involves taking care of all aspects of your well-being, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Make time for rest, nourishment, and activities that replenish your energy. Balance helps prevent burnout and keeps you centered, allowing you to engage fully with life while maintaining a calm, resilient mindset. Remember that cultivating inner peace and lasting fulfillment is an ongoing journey. There will be days when you feel challenged, uncertain, or unsettled, and that's perfectly natural. Inner peace is not a permanent state, but a practice you return to daily. Embrace each day with gratitude, mindfulness, and an open heart, knowing that true fulfillment comes from within and that every experience is part of your unique journey. Embracing a life of inner peace and lasting fulfillment is the ultimate reward for all the growth, resilience, and self-discovery you've cultivated. You're no longer defined by external influences or fleeting achievements, but by an unshakable sense of calm, purpose, and joy that comes from living authentically. This peace and fulfillment are your greatest strengths, enabling you to navigate life with grace and to find meaning in every moment. With inner peace as your anchor and fulfillment as your guide, you step into each day with confidence, clarity, and joy. You are empowered to live fully, love deeply, and embrace the beauty of life in all its forms. This is your path to a meaningful, joyful, and authentic life, a journey that celebrates who you are and honors the incredible resilience and wisdom you've cultivated along the way. As you reach the end of this journey, remember that this book is not simply a guide on avoiding manipulation or setting boundaries. It's a blueprint for living a life rooted in self-awareness, strength, and authenticity. Each chapter has given you tools to navigate the complexities of human relationships and, more importantly, to connect with your inner self and embrace a life of purpose, peace, and joy. Through this journey, you have learned that true empowerment comes from within and that the greatest freedom is found in being true to yourself. This path isn't about creating a life free from challenges or difficult relationships. Rather, it's about equipping yourself to handle them with grace and resilience. You now have the skills to recognize manipulation, the strength to set boundaries, and the wisdom to choose relationships that enrich your life rather than drain it. With these tools, you're free to engage in connections that reflect mutual respect, support, and love. At its core, this journey is about becoming the person you were always meant to be. Living with authenticity means expressing your values, dreams, and individuality without fear or compromise. It's about embracing both your strengths and imperfections, knowing that they are all part of the unique person you are. By fully accepting yourself and committing to your personal growth, you become a beacon of strength and inspiration, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. As you move forward, keep in mind that this journey doesn't end here. Life will continue to bring challenges, but with each challenge, you'll have opportunities to practice the skills you've gained, to reaffirm your values, and to deepen your self-respect. Each step forward strengthens the foundation of inner peace and fulfillment you've built, creating a life that feels deeply rewarding, meaningful, and true. Your path to empowerment, resilience, and authenticity is one that you'll walk every day. Embrace it with gratitude, curiosity, and an open heart, knowing that you have the power to create a life that celebrates who you are. With confidence, clarity, and joy, you're now ready to live fully, engage openly, and contribute positively to the world around you. This is your life. Live it as the empowered, resilient, and authentic person you've become. Celebrate your journey, honor your growth, and embrace the boundless potential of your future. This is the life you've created, one filled with inner strength, purpose, and a profound sense of peace.